Ladies and gentlemen, fellow goose chasers, we're back, baby. It is hump day. It's Wednesday in Nashville. It's Wednesday in Ohio. Me and Dino are flying, baby. We're getting ready to roll. I'm actually, as you're listening to this, I am on my way up to Camp Cutlet, fired up on all cylinders. Probably doing about a buck 10 up the freeway. Any of you police officers that see a black Dodge Ram doing a buck 10 up 65 or 71 north, just
Let,
ignore it.
let
Trying to
me
get
pass.
trying to get to Camp Cuddy, get some food plots going. But yeah,
Put your Waze app on.
it is Wednesday. We are here. We are goose chasing. We're brought to you by TAGNBRAG and TAGNBRAG Productions, also TNB Apparel and TNB Land Management. Y'all know the drill. Head to our website, tagnbrag.co, and check some of that good shit out. But anyway, we don't have a ton of time. Dino's got a schedule. He's less than a month away from getting married. How does that make you feel, my brother?
It's wild how fast it's approaching.
It is wild.
There's just so much to do with it.
You're growing up so fast.
Growing up so fast. Yeah, there's daily, there's stuff on the list.
Oh, I bet there is. All I know is that food better be good, the beer better be cold, and
that'll be the case.
I just got my trousers all trimmed up this weekend. I'm ready to roll. Them things are tight. You can see my bulge.
You can see your
if I stuff it with a sock or two, you could see it.
You can see your carry-on.
It's bulky, but I consider it carry-on. Yeah. Yeah. And we got a lot of shit going on. So, it's been a little bit tough for Dino and I to link up schedules, but we do what we can because hunting season is around the corner. We're goose chasing every damn day. And we just like connecting and talking with each other.
We certainly do.
So we're here. And we're here and we're well, I was gonna say something else, but I'm not gonna. We were just having a chat about self-filming, and there was actually some questions that came in on the social medias recently. We did a live hunt breakdown with Fourth Arrow for some self-filming techniques, and we do this every year. Go back to some of the hunts from the previous year, some successful, some not. Kind of break it down from a self-filming perspective, from setup to scenario to tree stand, blind, camera angles, all that stuff. And so Dean and I were just talking a little bit about that, and I just wanted to let you know
that we were talking about it.
It's not easy.
Holy shit. No, it's not.
It's still not easy, and we've been doing this shit for like 10 years.
100%. And there's no other way to describe it. It's just an art. It really is. We've, especially Dad's been saying this for a long time. It's a separate sport. Like self-filming is a separate sport.
Yeah, I would agree.
With the combination of hunting, because it's just
to tell a story, like to tell one day's worth of a story, self-filming is hard. But then to try and be consistent with that throughout an entire season is even harder. And then to go year after year after year doing it, it's not easy. It's not easy. Like, it's hard enough to prepare for the hunt as the hunter, just to be successful in the hunt itself. And then to be that guy and then take that hat off, or like kind of put it on the side of your head and then put another hat on that says, I'm a cameraman too, and I'm documenting all this shit, is kind of crazy.
Yeah. It has to be an addiction, because otherwise you'll never do it, or you'll just never get good at it. Like, we've thought about it. Like, it's so much work. It is. And you might have a thought in the back of your head, like, all right, today I just want to go in the woods, just me in the woods. And I think about that all the time, but I would never do it. You
I
know,
wouldn't. I couldn't. I don't
can't
think
do
I
it.
could go hunting without a camera. I would go in the woods with a camera and without my bow before I would
Yeah,
go in with my bow and with a camera. I'd feel I just
100%. I've actually done that before.
And yeah, I mean you're right. It has to be an addiction. It has to be such a discipline. Otherwise, you're just going to get frustrated. And I mean, I guess it would be different for us because, like, I don't know, we have got an established following and stuff like that. So, like, the following would be frustrated if you were just starting out. Obviously, that wouldn't be the case. It's kind of a personal thing when you're just first starting out.
Yeah.
But it's such a disciplinary, and it starts like from the moment that you leave, like to actually truly tell the story, like you have to have cameras running from the moment that you leave the house. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to use all that footage. And that's where I think people get like a little bit lost is they try and make the video perfect by just getting the perfect shots at the perfect time. And that's like, I'm just going to get these shots and this is what I need. And that's all I need. And there's no room for error. Like once you're editing or once you're doing, once you're in post-production, it's like, put this here, this is next, this after that, then this, and that's it. But that's not how shit works. Like we are constantly always searching for footage, always searching for B-roll to put over top of something that we might have like mentioned for like 3 seconds in an interview. We'll be like, oh, even in it's as stupid as it sounds, in a Food Plot Chronicles where we're literally editing that shit week to week. Okay. Dean's literally, from a Food Plot Chronicles perspective, is self-filming all of it while he's doing the work. We're not even hunting yet. But you'll say something in an interview from like referring to something like 2 years or 3 years or whatever, and however many years you want to go in the past. And when I'm editing it, I'm like,
I want that footage.
I want that footage. We got to show that shit, like.
But so people, that's what they want to see. They want to see it. Like they don't want to care if you're talking about
it. Because not everybody has seen that.
Right.
There's probably a large part of our following that has been following along for a while that has seen something from a couple years ago, but not everybody has seen that. So you have to, and I guess we understand this a lot more because we edit videos and we produce, take the full line of production from start to finish. And I think that is the case too. Like when you start editing videos, you really start to understand what you need in that production as opposed to just turning on the camera and hoping that you got it, or hoping that something happens, or hoping that the deer was in frame or you were zoomed in enough or it was in focus or anything like that,
Yeah.
Like once you edit, you understand how much you need, how clean it needs to be. Like if something happened or if you shot an interview and you don't like it, do it again. Like,
yeah, the editing skill definitely teaches you to film for sure.
Yeah,
it's the combination. Differently. It's the combination of the two. Because if you're just if you're on a team or whatever, and you're just like going to film your hunts, and then you're like turning in your footage, like whatever it is, if you're just giving your footage to someone to edit,
why would you give a shit?
Well, yeah, you don't know. You just think it's enough. Like you're not the one editing it, so when you put it together, you're not like,
well, yeah,
like, I want this video to be better. I needed to film this, or I needed to have the camera running when I was doing this, or like.
Well, yeah, because you experienced the whole hunt,
Yeah,
like you already experienced it.
Yeah.
So you're already sitting there going, "Oh, I got it all," because I was part of the hunt. I got it all. Like, but then you go back and you actually look at what you turned in, or you look at like the footage that's there, and you're like, "Holy fuck!" Like I didn't film anything.
Yeah.
Like I have a kill shot.
And this happens like this still happens to, well, it still happens to me. When we do our vlogs, like I will, as you go through the year, like it's easy with how much we film to wear down a little bit.
Get
And I'll
lazy.
find myself, if it's end of November, whatever, December, I'll go watch one of my hunts, or if we're editing something, I'm just like, man, I need to energize. I need to like revamp what I'm doing, because it's not enough right now.
Yeah.
You know, like you get in the habit of like, oh, if you're hunting the same deer and you feel like you're
same spot or similar
in the
spots,
same stand, you're doing the same interview, getting the same B-roll every time, you're just like, screw it, today I'm going to get in the stand, and when I start seeing deer, I'm going to start filming. And it's very easy to do that, especially if you hunt a lot, but it's not, you can't put a story together when you do that.
Right. Well, and just think about it. Like, you're watching a hunting show, okay? And this is with a cameraman, right? This is with a cameraman. You're watching Lee and Tiffany on the Crush on the Outdoor Channel. Lee's doing an interview. How long during Lee's interview do you see his face for consecutive seconds in a row? I bet it's no longer than 5 to 7 seconds in a row that you see his face. Now that may go Lee's face 5 seconds, then buck or food plot footage or whatever he's talking about. He's talking about hanging a camera. They show him hanging a cell cam or hanging a trail camera, and then they flash through a couple pictures, and then it goes back to his face for 5 to 7 seconds, whatever. But it's not going to be longer than that. You know why? Because nobody wants to fucking see that. Like, nobody, it's all about.
I can hear you talking.
Right. I can hear you talking. I want to see what you are doing. Show me something. Show me. Like, it would be this. Like, it would be no different than you watching this podcast. Like, this could just be the show. We could just talk about our stories and never show anything. That's what it would be like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is our hunting show. We're going to talk and we're going to tell stories, but you're never going to see a damn thing of actually what happened. You wouldn't watch it that long. We could be as funny as you want us to be. You wouldn't watch it. You wouldn't watch it that long. It wouldn't keep your attention. It just wouldn't. So,
yeah. And this is all, I mean, we're talking about this on a level of you're trying to create a story. You're trying to show people. I mean, obviously, if you just want to go out there and get a light setup, 4th arrow camera arm, and put your phone on it, and like you just want to show people your like a couple, your deer, or a couple shots, that's awesome too. Like, you don't need to get into it like we're getting into it, but if you want to get into it like we're into it, it's just a whole nother ball game. It's a whole nother level. And not to get into something completely different, but it will change. You have to completely change the way you hunt, because the camera has to be first. And when you're like, when you see a deer, when you see a buck, when you're hunting, what's your first inclination? Get the binoculars up.
Find out who is it?
What is it?
Yeah, who is it?
But to put good films together, good footage, good stories, it's got to be, get the camera on the deer first. Like, get the camera on the deer first, and then figure stuff out, because you can't re-show that. You can't retell that. Like, nobody cares that you missed the footage because you were trying to figure out what the deer is. Show it and then figure it out. But there's been so many times where we've done that, and maybe you just catch a glimpse of the buck or whatever it is, and thankfully we actually got the camera on it, and you were able to tell like who it was, and where he went, and you weren't able to do that in the woods, and maybe you weren't able to because you were because you're working with the camera so much. But I think the cool thing is you're later able to go back and again tell or show that story through the footage, instead of like coming back to your camp or whatever and been like, man, I saw a flash, I saw this good buck, but I couldn't get the camera on him. Well, now I can show you that. You could have, yeah. You just were looking through your binoculars.
Right. And that's a very hard,
it's so hard to do.
Concept to grasp. It really is. And I don't say that lightly at all. And once again, the reason that we're so fired up about this, like I've been having conversations with some industry, friends and people and stuff like that, and other producers, and just going through the production woes and the show woes. I mean, all the hunting shows are launching right now. So we're in the middle of launching the Crossroads on the Sportsman's Channel. All of the hunting shows on Sportsman Outdoor Channel are all in their first quarter or in their first wave of launching their episodes. A lot of the online shows, I know the Breaking Point guys, they just started launching their episodes a couple weeks ago, or maybe like closer to a month ago, whatever. But like everybody's getting amped up for this. So it's, when you're in it, you obviously, you keep tabs on other people, what they're doing, how they're doing it. And it's not for, like, at least for us, it's not for competition per se, but it's to learn, it's to learn from each other and to learn all of this stuff. So that's kind of why we're talking about it. And there's so many people, it always comes up this time of year. Well, how can I get into the hunting industry? Like, I want to start filming my own hunts, and what do I do? And like, obviously, if you want to start filming your own hunts, like, more than likely you want to do it for a reason. You want to show other people. And so it's all about telling that story. And if you are serious enough, or you want to get into the space or get into the hunting industry, like, this is the type of shit that you have to, like, understand. Otherwise, it's going to be short-lived. Like, I hate to say it, it's just going to be short-lived. Like, how many years did you and I spend, like, saying that we were going to film, and then we would, like, bring the camera, but then push would come to shove and we wouldn't do it. It was 3 to 4 years before we were like, fuck this. Like, no, it doesn't matter what happens. It is like, if we actually want to do this, it's black and white. It's the discipline to say it's on camera, it's getting done that way, or it's not getting done. And we're going to show it regardless. Cause
we've gotten to the point where it's, I don't care how big the deer is.
Right.
We won't pull the trigger or whatever, release the arrow if it's off, if it's not right on from a filming aspect.
Right.
And that's crazy to say, but we're trying to tell stories. And to your original point, you would go in the woods with your camera and without a weapon before you would go in the woods with a weapon and without a camera. That kind of just proves that point. Like, the camera is first.
And honestly, for us at least, it's not to, like, show the big bucks that we kill, or, like, I don't know. It's just not about, like, the self glam. Like, we're showing it because we enjoy it so much. And this is what we've said from the beginning. Like, in the beginning of when Tag and Brag started, it was, we have something else to give to this hunting industry. We are watching all these big deer get killed on film. That's clearly attainable. All these guys are doing it. Big deer, big elk, big bear, whatever the fuck, whatever you're hunting. But we felt like the fun part of it, like what we enjoyed, the chase, the camaraderie, the fun part of it, that was all missing. Bone Collector definitely was probably one of the first ones that actually brought that to light, like the filming in camp and stuff like that. You felt like you were kind of a part of, you were part of the brotherhood. Like, that was part of their, that is and was part of their brand, and they've stood by it.
Yeah, they still do a great job of that.
And that's kind of how, what we saw is, like, we saw a hole in a lot of these outdoor productions, and it's like, we're missing part of this. And that's where, like, when we started filming and we got serious with it, it was like, good, bad, indifferent, doesn't matter. Like, we're going to capture the fun of this. And that's why we wanted to do it. Obviously, you need to kind of, your credibility, you need to kill shit in the process. Otherwise, you're just filming, like, random videos or whatever. But that's why we're doing it. So I guess when we, like, I don't know, just getting that kill shot isn't all of it. Like,
no, it's not. I mean, everyone goes, most people hunt one state, like where they're from. And a lot of people, you may hunt 20, 25 times a year, you may not shoot anything.
Right.
Like, so it's not real. We grew up throwing in like a Monster Bucks video, like a VHS or whatever, like there would be 16 to 20 hunts on it. It would all be on the cover. And when a new hunt came up, like you knew what was going to happen. Someone was going to shoot a deer.
Yeah,
And
within
that's
the
not,
first couple minutes.
and it's just not like, that's not how it goes.
Well, it's not all of what's enjoyed. And I think that's what we saw that was missing is like, you know, we're in school on a Friday and like Dad and Uncle Jay are coming to pick us up early because we're going up and we're getting the afternoon hunting on Friday, you know?
Yeah.
Like as soon as we get out of school and throw our bags in the truck, we're
hunting.
We're hunting. We're
talking
like
about
that.
it. We're going to drive to hunt. Yeah, that's all the good stuff.
That's all the good shit. So right from there, and that's what I said. As soon as you leave the house, like that's when it starts. Sometimes it starts when you're at the friggin' house, you know. Yeah. But like that is what wasn't getting captured, at least in the outdoor stuff that we were watching back in the day, and that's where we felt like we could fill a void, and we have but it's because those cameras are rolling at all times. And that's why like the second angle portion of the self-filmed hunt is so important, because it's not to say that like the animal is on film or isn't on film on the main camera. I get the buck walking in, get great footage of him coming in, whatever. I'm stopped, or the camera's stopped, I'm at full draw, and he takes a couple steps. If I have a camera over my shoulder that can see all of this happening, and for whatever reason, I miss that shot on the main camera, I've still told the story.
Yeah.
Like, I've still told that story. But, yeah, I don't know. It's just, like you said, we could go on for six days talking about this stuff and all that goes into it. But the self-filming portion of it is a totally different beast.
Totally different beast. Yeah, it's actually insane when you think about it. Well, again, there's so many levels to it. Like I said, you can go in there with your cell phone or do whatever. But I'm not tooting our horn or anything like that. But we're going in there with, you and I both probably have 2 GoPros.
No, we
have a DSLR that we're using for whatever, just shots or a second angle, a high quality second angle that's on us. And then we have our main camera. It's a lot of stuff to operate.
Oh, yeah.
You know, amongst doing it in cold or maybe bad weather or changing batteries or figuring all that stuff out. But we realize that it's necessary if you want to really tell a story.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's necessary, and not just tell the story, but you want to do it. And, you know, obviously we've had lofty goals now of doing it in a high quality way, because we want to show everyone like a high quality story. So it's,
yeah, I mean, you
need to be on that level, but like, yeah, it's a different, I don't know how to even describe it. It's a different.
Well, for us, I mean,
beast.
if now, just for instance, like if I had the main camera going and I got this thing, you know, he's coming in, whatever, and I look back and for whatever reason, my second angle's not on. I'm before I pull the trigger, I'm figuring out a way to get that second angle on. And if I can't get it on, I don't know. I'll decide in that moment, but more than likely, I'm going to then explain why I didn't shoot.
Yeah.
But like for me, it's being able to show people from start to finish what it takes to be successful. Like, I want to show the whole chase, the whole thing. Like, I want them to understand, you know, all of what it took, all of what it takes. And if one of your cameras goes down or you can't see a portion of that, if a portion of that is altered in any way, I just feel like the hunt from a documenting standpoint is not successful. And at that point, I go from cameraman. I go from hunter to cameraman.
Yeah, it's I don't know, we've passed up a lot of opportunities on really good deer because of camera situations.
Yeah.
From self-filming. Not like past we didn't like let the deer go, but like you couldn't get them, you couldn't get the camera, you couldn't make it all come together. But if looking back on those hunts, if you were just a hunter in the woods with only your weapon, you would have gotten a shot.
Yeah.
It's happened quite a bit.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I
On
mean,
a
shit.
couple big deer. It's
Dude,
happened.
the year that I shot Nipsey, that when I went back to sit all day in the Flemish and that giant ran right underneath me. I mean, if I don't have camera equipment, I'm locked in, ready to roll. As soon as he comes up under that pine, I'm already at full draw.
Yeah.
And whenever he gives me an angle, I'm stopping him, and he's getting an arrow at freaking 3 yards.
Yeah. And that was
and
a
because
giant.
it
And
that was a giant mystery giant. Like, you talk about New York, you never see that, like, that big of a deer just come out of the woodwork. You don't see that anywhere, let alone New York. I've never seen it.
No, and the funny thing is the capturing the story portion of that. A lot of people may come out and of the woods and be like, "Oh man, I messed up on a giant," and you're kind of like, "Oh man, what was it? Was it like a 2.5-year-old?" The cool thing is, you got the deer on film, and you're like, "Holy shit, that was a giant!
That was a giant
right underneath your tree."
And the funny thing is too that like half of the people on YouTube are like, "You're a fucking idiot. Why do you lose the camera?
Yeah.
You fucking just kill the deer." And I would have been like, I'm like, "Yo,
yeah, but
I got a picture to show you then, and you can't see this."
And you're not commenting on anything.
Right. You're not commenting on shit. So think.
Yeah. But well, it worked out that year. It worked out for you because a couple weeks later you killed Nipsey.
Yeah. Very, very, very true. And that's part of it too. Like, and I think that goes with hunting, that goes with life in general. Like, there's certain things that slip through your fingertips, and you have to trust it.
Yeah,
you got to trust that. And honestly, that wasn't the first time that year, dude. In Ohio in October, that freaking another 160-inch deer. I mean, he was mid 150s anyway. My biggest Ohio buck by far it would have been. He comes up behind me, freaking middle of the day, 11 in the morning or whatever, and dude, that deer was dead twice.
Yeah,
with no camera equipment, easily. I mean, 30 yards, 25 yards, he was dead twice, and he literally I watched him walk out of my life.
Full draw, trying to move the camera with your bow while you're at full draw, and I've been there too.
But, oh my God, man. You want to talk about a game of inches in itself, and then you start documenting it, and it's like, but once again, like, that year was so weird. Like, all that shit was happening. It would have been so easy to just be like, fuck this, I'm done. Fuck this season. My fucking season sucks. I got fucked, like all this stuff. Like, woe is me. But that whole season, I just kept telling myself, like, yo, just keep going. Just keep going. And then the highlight of my hunting career happened in the middle of a friggin' blizzard in New York. A blizzard on a deer that we were following all summer, and then he went MIA for a month, and he just comes waltzing out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like,
it's nuts.
Crazy.
But the cool thing is, going back to like the Ohio hunt, you had that all captured second angle. So if someone would have just seen your main camera footage, they would have been like, "What the hell is this asshole doing?"
They would have ruined me.
But because you had that second angle going, it makes it so badass because someone's like, "Holy shit, this deer's on the move," and he is.
Look at him trying to get all this shit together.
Trying to get the camera on him, and he's full draw, and like It's just
then he's not drawn, then he's drawn again.
It makes the hunt so intense. But I guess the point is that second angle, it made that whole story, because you could have told everyone what was going on, but everyone would watch the footage and been like, "What the hell are you doing? This deer's right there."
Part of like one of the more popular things that we do, I feel like, or that people get, like, they just love seeing in our vlogs and in our films, even when we are self-filming and then one of us shoots something, like the cell phone calls afterwards. And that interaction in the woods, like even last year when you shot Bernie, I'm on state land here in Tennessee. Dude, I got that call and I left. I started walking out. I'm like, we got him. We got him, baby. Let's go.
I'm not even hunting for him, but we got him.
I'm not fucking 700 miles away right now, but we got him. We're done. Today's good. Let's go home and celebrate, baby. I mean, no, but seriously, that's what I mean. And so, like, there's a point of like filming together, and being, in the tree together. And there's certain aspects of that I do love as well. But even in and amongst the self-filming portion of it for us, we haven't lost the camaraderie of like when something goes down, whether we're in a tree together, a couple hundred yards apart, 3 miles apart, or 300 miles apart, like that celebration, it still happens.
Yeah.
It still happens. And we show it because of that documentation,
For sure.
because of those second angles and just how we document things. So
it's badass.
Yeah.
Another level.
Good shit. Well, I know you got to go. I may still just hang out here and bullshit for a little while, but yeah.
Goose chasing crew, I got to roll out. I got some stuff I got to take care of before 4 p.m.
Well,
man, I'm running behind.
Shit. Go take care of it, and I will see you. I'll see you later today.
I'll see you later today.
I'll see you tonight.
See you tonight. See y'all.
All right, see ya. All right, Dino's gone now, ladies and gentlemen. You just got your boy. You got your boy, and that's it. And that's good too. So yeah, this self-filming thing, I mean, it is a crazy thing. It's a crazy business. And it's certainly not for everyone. It doesn't have to be for everyone, but I think there's a lot of people that want to get into the hunting industry, that want their own show, so to speak, or, just want their own clout and stuff like that. And that's all fine and good. It's just the realization of the work that you need to put in, the discipline that you need to have, and to fully tell the story. I mean, self-filming came about because as hunters, we want the ability to have the bow in our hand or the gun in our hand, or to be in front of the camera. That's what we want. I mean, that's what I want. I love filming. I love being behind the camera too. I've grown a different love for that, and for just documenting stuff and creating stories, or just documenting things in order to tell stories. But that's why the self-filming thing came about, because we don't want to give up the time. When Dean and I started filming our own hunts, we weren't self-filming. We were hunting together, and we were giving up half of our season in order to film these hunts and document them and show people. Each of us were giving up half of our season. And that's the what the fuck word am I looking for here? Jesus. That's the sacrifice. My brain's a little jumbled. That's the sacrifice that we took in order to document what we wanted to do. And truly, when we were doing that, as we're brothers, so like we're on the same team. He shoots a buck, we shoot a buck. I shoot a buck, we shoot a buck. That's just how it is. And that's just how we roll. No different than my dad or Uncle Jay or anybody that we're hunting with. If I'm going in the woods with somebody and I'm filming, like they shoot a deer, we shoot a deer. We documented it. He might have pulled the trigger or she might have pulled the trigger, whoever it was. We documented it. We told the story. We got that deer. That's how I look at it. And that's how it was for us in the beginning when we were filming together. But it came to the point where, we went through a lot of trials and a lot of tribulations just trying to get something on film together that we're like, man, we could really double up our odds here if we were both able to hunt separately and, be able to document and film this well enough to where we are doubling up our odds. We're in two different spots. We're hunting two different deer, or maybe it's the same deer. We're just hunting, different sides of the property or something, but we're giving ourselves two different opportunities now. And it was at that point, it was still Dean shoots a buck, we shoot a buck. I shoot a buck, we shoot a buck. Dad shoots a buck, we shoot a buck. Uncle Jay shoots a buck, we shoot a buck. That's just how it is. So if you're playing that team game, now all of a sudden you start throwing self-filmers out there who know what the hell they're doing, and you can make up ground pretty quickly because now we go from, one opportunity to four opportunities. And if we can fill in the gaps with somebody else's hunt or another encounter or whatever, now all of a sudden, we've got a pretty solid storyline to tell just from one day of hunting. I mean, one day of hunting. That's why we go up to New York for Rut Week, and this all started during Rut Week, where we're literally hunting by day, hunting and filming by day, editing by night. And so you're literally seeing one day's worth of content is reeled out in 15 to 30 minutes, but you're seeing a flash of one of my encounters, then you're going to Dean's, then you're going to Uncle Jay, then my dad, then maybe back to Uncle Jay, then to Dean, then me, then my dad again. And it's going through all these encounters, keeping the viewer engaged while also just basically telling the story of 1 day's worth of time. And we reeled that out for 8 to 10 days in a row. And people loved it. And so the next year, we started doing it in North Dakota. And people love that because they're following along right from the rip. Like literally end of August, early September, they're following along. So we did that for North Dakota. And then we still did it for Rut Week. And then the next year, we're like, well, why don't we just do this for the whole damn season? And now it doesn't matter where we are. I could be in Tennessee hunting. Uncle Jay could be Tennessee hunting here. Dean and Dad are in New York. But you're getting that day's worth of time. You're getting the experience from both parties, from both states, from likely 4 different geographical locations in one swoop. And it all goes back to the discipline and just, being able to and being disciplined enough to keep the camera in your hands. I mean, Uncle Jay and my dad are two of the most, what would you want to say, trigger happy individuals that I know, I would say. Probably two of the most trigger happy individuals that I know. So they like pulling the trigger. And they now understand what us as TAGNBRAG is trying to portray. And it's really not portraying anything. It's just documenting what we love to do and the way that we love to do it and being able to show people after that. If you can't show people, then it's all just a story. It's all just hearsay. And you hear the hunting and the fishing tales and, hey, we're going to sit around the campfire and tell a bunch of lies. Well, if it's on camera, there ain't no lies to tell. Good, bad, or indifferent, you're exposed, my friend. You're exposed. So, I don't know. I get off on a rant. I could talk about this stuff for a long time. But that's because we have put so much time and effort into it. So I'm very, very passionate about it. I'm passionate about, the overall production of things and just telling the story as hunters, telling our own stories, and being that we've self-filmed for 10 plus years now, like I'm very passionate about that too, because I don't think that there's a whole lot of people like within the hunting industry that can self-film and self-film well. There's a lot of people that can self-film. I don't know that there's a lot of people that can do it well. And that's not knocking anyone. It's not easy. It's not easy. But I just don't think that there's a ton of people that can do it well. And the only reason is because they haven't done it a lot. Like there's no consistency to it. And once again, that's not knocking anyone, but that's just the reality of it. Because if you're going to start self-filming, you have to know, number one, going into it, you're going to fail. You're going to fail. You're going to fuck shit up. That's just what's going to happen. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We fuck shit up as hunters all the time. Just hunting. So now you're going to try and not only do that, but you're going to try and film at the same time. You're going to fuck shit up. Just forewarning. You have to be mentally strong enough to be able to handle that. You also have to be able to rebound from that. So you're going to go through hardships. Like, that's just the bare bones of it. Like, you're going to go through hardships. It's going to be difficult for you to do this with success right off the rip. You could be a great hunter and suck at self-filming. You could be an awesome self-filmer, but suck at hunting. And you're going to have to try and mesh the two. Like, there's going to be a point where them two lines intersect. And at that point is where you want to be. But it's going to take time getting there. It's going to take experience getting there. It's going to take putting yourself in scenarios where things get tough, where you fail in order to get there. But I can promise you, every time you go out there with the camera in your hands, you're going to learn a little something. Even documenting stuff, documenting the deer movement, you're going to learn a little something. You're going to learn that the deer, just by filming the deer, it's going to lock you into observing them a little bit more. How many people are sitting there? Maybe they're sitting there over a food plot, whatever. Doe comes out. Oh, it's just a doe. Here, I'm going to just sit in the stand and, yep, just check out my Instagram a little bit more. And I don't know, maybe I'll go on to Twitter. Maybe I'll check some trail cameras. I don't know. I don't know if there's going to be enough time. But that's naturally what's going to happen. Whereas if you're filming, now I'm watching this doe. Oh, what is she eating? I got a brassicus blonde food plot. What is she eating right now? Is she eating the clover in it? Is she eating the chicory? Is she eating everything? I don't know. But you can sit there and you can observe and you can film and you can watch her and you can learn. Okay? Now a buck comes out. What's he doing? Oh, he eats for a little bit. It's like a little forker. Maybe it's a 6-point. I'm going to get back on my Instagram, on my social media. I got to check into this stuff anyway. Check my trail cameras. I want to see what's going on in Ohio, even though I'm in New York, so I'm not present at all. But what is he doing? Does he come out? Is he checking does? Does he go to a scrape that maybe you didn't know was in the back of this food plot because you don't go back there? And now you got another trail camera spot where you can shuffle a trail camera and move it to. Does he make a rub? Is he just feeding? Does he have no interest in does at all? Like, hey, take in what Mother Nature and all that is giving you. And when you're filming, it kind of forces you into that, It forces you into saying, all right, well, let me just film this deer a little bit. Like Dean said earlier, you're sitting in the hardwoods and you can see through the hardwoods a pretty good ways. You catch a flash of a deer, what's your first instinct? Your first instinct is to throw your binoculars up. If you're self-filming, your first instinct should be to get the camera on the deer. Because maybe you lose them for a second, okay? Maybe you lose them for a second, but the camera's like zoomed into him, but it's not all the way zoomed in, so you could see kind of where he was and where he's going. Well, now you can go back and watch that footage and see what happened. Man, that deer disappeared. Maybe he busted you and you had no idea. Maybe he busted you moving the camera around. Maybe he busted you going for your binoculars and you had no idea. Well, if you got the camera rolling, now you know. I fucked up. I moved too much. It wasn't my fault. I don't know how he saw me. I have no idea how he saw me. I have no idea what happened. Well, now you know what happened. So, I mean, it's just things like that. It's just got me all flared up today already. Jeez, oh man. But it's time, We're rounding the corner. Tomorrow, what's today? August 2nd? August 2nd. Wednesday, August 2nd is today. I mean, shit, we're literally 1 month exactly. Hold on. No. We're less than a month. It was a month from yesterday, I believe. Checking my calendar. Yeah. A month from yesterday. We're 1 month away from the North Dakota season starting. So all this stuff's just in the blood, baby. We're just getting ready. We're getting ready. And we're passionate about this stuff. And I have so many buddies in the hunting industry. Some that film, some that don't film. I don't really care one way or another. I just like talking hunting. I like talking storytelling, and so I certainly don't discriminate who's doing what or whatever, but I like to learn too. So, I pick people's brains, and a lot of these guys have camera people, and that's fine. And some people sell film. So I'm picking their brain. They're picking my brain. We're trying to learn off of each other and try and benefit off of each other to make it work. But it's funny that like just the self-filming woes and just the filming woes in general and what they'll do to you and they'll do to your mind. And, I don't know. It's all a game. It's a mind game that we play we play with ourselves, but it is a game, that's for sure. And it's like Dean said before, like you have to be 100. If you're going into the filming side of things, you got to be 100% bought in. You got to be bought in. You got to be locked in. You got to be disciplined. And that's what you're doing, or you're not, or whatever. But yeah, good stuff. I don't know. What else? I'm just getting anxious because I'm trying to shoot my bow today, and I want to shoot it and got that new Phase 4 set up. It's shooting pretty good. I feel really good about it, actually. I feel really good about it. Yeah, I got the new Phase 4. I got a new dialed archery sight. I got a bunch of new equipment this year, and honestly, outside of the Phase 4, I bought it all because I want to use it and I want to know. So I got the dialed archery Arxos sight. It's actually a single pin from the bottom, but it's got 3 lighted pins on the post coming up from the bottom. So it gives you, like, as a self filmer, it gives you a little bit of I don't know, it just gives you a little cushion. It gives you a little bit of things to play with, because like if I have my sight set on 20 yards, that middle pin is probably like 33 to 35 yards. And then the pin that's all the way at the bottom of the post is probably closer to 50. So if push comes to shove and something happens, or something's coming into 20 yards and all of a sudden it jumps back to 30, whatever, at least I have like kind of a middle range to play with a little bit. And then I obviously have my wheel adjustment and stuff too. So I'm really, really enjoying that sight. There's a lot of features on that sight that are awesome for hunting, period, but definitely awesome for self-filming. Like I customized the sight so that the sight tape was actually on the inside. So now when I'm adjusting it, it's a little bit easier for me to see, but also when I'm at full draw, like I can check myself without having to move my head all the way around the string or anything like that. And yeah, I got the smallest pin version because I like to be able to see and shoot out to farther distances without completely covering up my target. What else? I got it all custom colored and stuff like that to match my bow. But then one of my favorite pieces of equipment that I got this year that I changed up was I got a thumb button from Ultra View and never shot a thumb button before. I am absolutely loving it. What I like about it from a self-filming perspective, once again, is once I get up into the tree, I'm going to lock that release onto my bow. So that release is already there. Now I don't have anything that's clanking around my wrist because I'm going to be maneuvering the camera with my right hand. So before, when I had just a normal trigger release, like when I would go move around that camera, if I was moving it quick or something, that release could bang on the camera, it could bang on the fluid head, the tree arm, wherever, and make noise. Now I have that hand completely separate or completely clean, just a glove on that hand. So I can move the camera around quietly. And then when I grab my bow, my release is already there. So I'm really looking forward to utilizing that like feature of it as a self filmer. I think it's going to drastically help me out. But for me, it helped my shooting and it just helped my technique a lot as a bow hunter, or it has, at least up until this point, in really pulling through my shot, pulling through like the back of that arrow. And I don't know, just it's made me far more consistent. It's definitely been a learning curve to get used to it. But all of this stuff, like I said, I purchased all of this stuff. It's not companies that we're working with. These aren't like sponsorship plugs or anything like that. This is research that I've done. It's research that I've relied on, some friends to do and to, utilize their feedback and trusting their feedback from. And it's worked for me. Like throughout the summertime, throughout the springtime, as I've been shooting and as I've shot a lot more arrows this summer than I had in years past because of this new equipment. And I'm trying to get comfortable and use it all and understand it all, because I know when push comes to shove and you get into those scenarios where you're in a hunting scenario and like it's go time right now, you've got to know and you've got to trust that equipment. Pulling your bow off the shelf, I don't care if you're self-filming or not, pulling that bow off to the shelf and dusting it off a week or 2 weeks before the season is just, it's unacceptable anymore. It's irresponsible to you. It's irresponsible to that animal that you're pursuing. And it's just irresponsible. You have to be confident in your equipment. You have to be confident in your game. And in our game, we're talking about taking a life. That's something that I take very seriously. That's something that, I have a lot of respect for, and making the taking of that life as merciful as possible. I'm a bow hunter first. I'll gun hunt from time to time, but if there's any scenario where I can have a bow in my hand, that's my first choice. Getting up close and personal with that animal, like I said, I just think it's the most merciful way to take that animal. Oftentimes, that arrow zips through the animal. That animal doesn't even know what happened to it and until it's bled out and done. Whereas, gun hunting, there's a shot, there's a boom, there's a loud noise, there's panic, there's fear instilled in the game that you're hunting naturally. From that gunshot, a lot happens after that. Where in bow hunting, like if you're not in that, 20-yard radius, 30-yard radius of where the action happens, of where that shot goes off, the rest of the world doesn't even know what happens. Nobody else knows what happens. So I don't know, like just going into that scenario, for me, I want to be as on my game as I can. I want to be as prepared and as confident as I can be, because taking a life is, it's something that I think everybody should take very seriously. As hunters, we've got our names getting dragged through the mud in more ways than we can count. And what people don't understand is the respect I feel like that we as hunters all have for that life, that the people and the naysayers that are, hollering obscenities or telling us that we're, disgusting people and we're killers and whatever all the names that most of us have probably been called, especially if you're putting any sort of content out there online, all of that stuff, like, what those people don't understand is the respect that we have for that life, is the respect that we have not only for the life that we're taking, but for the land that we're on taking it. And a lot of that respect, none of those people have. They don't have respect for the land or that life that we're taking. They're just hollering obscenities and causing problems and whatever, because maybe they feel like they need a voice or who knows why. But regardless, that is something that I personally take very seriously. So getting back to it, dusting your bow off a week before the season and going out there, I mean, a lot of people do it, but it's, I think that we need to hold ourselves a little bit more responsible and a little bit more accountable for being better in those scenarios. So once again, I bought some new equipment. I'm testing it out. I can't wait to go test it out this afternoon. I've been shooting damn near every day. If I can't shoot a day, I have a little bow trainer that I use in my apartment that allows me to not release an arrow, but go through my release. So I will do that hundreds of times a day in my apartment while I'm on conference calls, while I'm in the middle of editing, while I'm waiting for stuff to load. Like, I'm going through shots. Like, I'm shooting, I'm shooting an arrow. At least in my head, I'm shooting and I'm pulling that trigger of the release. So I'm walking through that shot cycle. Is it exactly the same? No, it's not exactly the same, but it's close enough for me that I'm building muscle memory, that I'm building the mentals around the release of that arrow and all that stuff. So, yeah, I mean, it's around the corner, ladies and gentlemen. It's around the corner. And I'm getting excited, as you can probably tell. So, hopefully y'all are too. Hopefully you're out shooting some bows every now and again, couple nights a week, or whatever your time permits. Shit, once you get dialed in with your equipment, even going out once a night and releasing one arrow, that counts. Like, that could be your practice session. Hey guys, today I got one shot, literally one shot. That's the only shot I'm taking, good, bad, or indifferent. So leave it all on the line, because you know what? That's the scenario that you're going to be dealt when you get in the woods. That's the scenario. And it's going to pop up out of nowhere. You're going to have no warning. Probably not. You're going to have no warning. You're going to have to go from like a flattened state of emotion to the most heightened state of emotion that you could ever imagine in the blink of an eye. And you're going to have to control those emotions whilst trying to make and execute a good shot in order to be merciful to that animal and ethically harvest that animal in a very quick manner. That's what it is. So we're getting ready for it, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to happen. It's right around the corner. I cannot wait. We are going to be in North Dakota in less than a month. We will be in North Dakota in less than a month. I'll be in North Dakota in less than a month. When Dean's joining me, I'm not really sure yet, but we will be kicking off the season with y'all in North Dakota in less than a month. And I can't wait. I can't wait. So hopefully y'all are having a fantastic Wednesday. Guys, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It helps us out. Leave a comment on this video. That helps us out as well. And give it a like. All that stuff, all the interaction helps us out, whether it's here, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Facebook, TikTok, whatever. You know that if you like what we're doing, send us a line, send us a comment, like it, share it some way to help this stuff continue to grow. We appreciate y'all. Cannot say it enough. Appreciate everything you guys do for us, the views, the following along, all of this. It's made our dream come true, and it's something that we don't take lightly whatsoever. So thank y'all very much. head on over to our socials and get all that good business. Subscribed, liked, comment, followed, all that good stuff. Hopefully y'all have a fantastic weekend. I'm going to be at Camp Cutlet. We're going to be getting some food plot crowny stuff done. XOPs are going to go in some trees. We're going to be shooting bows and shit. It's going to be a blast. All that will be on our YouTube next week. The vlogs are starting to roll out. We already got a couple out in Tennessee. We're getting Food Plot Chronicles rolling in New York. The vlogs are rolling, baby. It's time. Get involved with it. We appreciate y'all. Thank you. And go out and goose chase something this week. Goose chase something that you love. I love each and every one of you. Thank you guys very much for your time this week. And we'll see y'all right back here next week on Goose Chasing. Peace.